All right. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Coach's Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Hamilton, Coach Eddie Hamilton. I know give a little second for a couple of people to come in here and join us. And we're going to jump right into it. Jump right into it this evening. Wonderful to see everybody here today. Glad to have you. We're live on YouTube, on my personal page, Eddie J. Hamilton, also on the podcast page, The Coach's Sanctuary. We're also live on Facebook, on my personal page, Eddie Hamilton, and also on my podcast page, The Coach's Sanctuary. I think we're live on Twitter as well on The Coach's Sanctuary. So again, The Coach's Sanctuary podcast, live with Coach Eddie Hamilton. Glad to be here. Here where we are in Louisiana, it is becoming pretty nice here. Heat starting to go away a little bit, starting to thin out a little. So we get some cool evenings and some cool mornings. So all that means for me is football season is revved up and we getting a little bit closer to basketball season. All right. Best time of the year. Best time of the year. Plenty of sports for all the sports lovers. And so glad to have you all here with us or with me here. So we're going to jump right in. The title of tonight's podcast is Identifying Your Players' Motives. Identifying your players' motives. You know, I know that's something that like, how in the world, how do you do that? How are you going to identify your players' motives? Well, you know, of course, like I said, for me, this is just something that's worked for me over time. It's grown. You know, my mentors I've had over the years, things that I've taught, things that's been taught to me, things that I've learned to pick up on over time, and just want to get on here and share with my fellow coaches and also those who might be parents and just fans. And y'all wonder why us coaches so crazy on the sidelines sometimes. So we're going to get in here. We're going to have fun tonight, and we're going to break this thing down a little bit. And feel free to chime in the chat. You know, any thoughts or questions or comments, feel free to chime right on in. All right. So what I'm going to do is first start off is just, like I said, identifying our players' motives. Okay. Identifying their motives. So first off, let's do the definition of motive. What is that? Let's check that out real quick. What is the definition of motive? So motive in its noun form, it just means something that causes a person to act in a certain way or do a certain thing. Okay, so think about it. Motive, something that causes a person to act in a certain way, do a certain thing. In other words, what's the incentive for the reason why a person is acting the way that they're acting? Okay, so y'all follow. Also, it could be the goal or object of a person's actions. All right, so the bottom line is when you talk about motive, what's your motive? What is causing you to act the way that you act? Now you think about it, that's so bigger than what we do here in basketball and the coaching, but it's very important for us as coaches, as leaders, as visionaries, those of us that are leading people, that are leading children, anything that we do, but specifically in what we're doing as coaches, is we have to have discernment, so to speak, in how do we pick up on a child's motive for being in your program. Because that's very, very important, and it's imperative that we understand that, because as a visionary, as the head coach, I have a vision for the program. I am the one that developed the mission of the program, you know, how we want our program to look, the things that are going to identify us as, you know, the team that you're coaching, their character traits that you want, their attitudes that you want, there's certain things that you want to be seen. So it's important for you to know who you are as the leader, okay, and what your expectation is and what you want it to look like. And then you need to know how you want to get it there, okay? You want to know how you want to get it there. So in order to do that, you know, we have to know that we have our vision in place, our mission. We got to know Okay, we have to know what it is that is in order for us to identify what is causing our players to act a certain way, to do certain things, okay? Or what are the goals and objects or objectives they're trying to get to that's causing them to behave the way that they behave. Okay. Now, of course, they can go all kind of ways. That's for coaches, assistant coaches, administrators, parents, all of that. But we're gonna focus on the coach-player relationship and how important it is for us to understand what is motivating our players. Okay. So it's always been said, anybody that's been in sports, you've heard this before. There are two things, no matter what's going on, that you have control over. I always say that the most powerful thing God gave us was choice, was decision making. That's what he gave us. Okay? So what that means is if we have the ability to make choices, now, if I control my attitude and my effort, if those are the two things that I have complete control over no matter what is going on, all right, then attitude, where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What is it that I'm believing in? What am I wanting to do? What are my goals? What's going on? That's going to control my attitude. Okay. So now going back, we're identifying our players' motives. So y'all just stay with me. Identifying our players' motives. We have to have a vision that we share with our players. We have to have a mission that we share with our players and our parents and our community. Okay. We have to know what that looks like. We have to have an outline or an idea of what we want our programs to look like. So now we have a measuring stick. But guess what? As coaches, we're being measured by that as well, correct? Right. Okay, then. So the two things that we control are our attitude and our effort. So whatever kind of attitude you have, whether good or bad, it controls your energy and your effort. Okay? So if you have a good attitude based on whatever it is, the goals and objectives you're trying to get to, then your effort towards what you're doing is going to be maximum. It's going to be through the roof. No excuses. All right? So think about it. Your attitude is going to dictate your energy and your effort. If your attitude is negative, if it's bad, if it's whatever, the vibes ain't positive, whatever we want to call that. If it's that, then your effort or your energy is not going to be high. Okay. So mind you, coaches, for us, we have to be able to recognize our players' attitudes and their effort or energy. Okay. And then on top of that, the next phase of it is we have to be able to take being able to identify that. Then we got to find out where it's coming from. Because let's be honest, y'all, our children, they're under a lot of pressure. They're children. Children that are playing sports, they want to please the coach. They want to please their parents. They want to please their trainers. They want to please their middle school coach. They want to please their favorite teacher. They want to please their grandmother. Y'all see what I'm saying? It's so many different layers. So now as coaches, we got to be able to watch and see the attitude that our children or our student athletes have, okay? And what type of energy they're having. And then going back to what I said a few weeks ago, this is where relationship building comes in at, okay? This is where getting some understanding of who, your players are off the court. Okay, we have to have an idea of who they are and what their goals are off the court. What type of person they are. What are they looking to do with their lives, even without the game? Because now we're coaching a game, okay? And we have to know what are their goals, what are they trying to have happen, and that's going to help us have discernment of be able to pick up on those vibes. Those are the words today now, vibes, okay, and energy, okay, of what type of attitude our players have. So remember, let's go back. We're talking about identifying our players' motives. Okay? Identifying our players' motives. Motives are something that causes a person to act in a certain way and do certain things. Okay? That's what that is. That's what motive is. something that causes a person to act in a certain way or do certain things. So now we're talking about attitude. So now I have a couple things laid out here when it comes down to attitude. What the attitude of our program is, okay? Of course, you as a coach dictate what it is you want, but these are just some outlines that I've created over time. So now, as a group, our vision, our goals, of course, we want to win. All right. The highest level we can get to, winning a state championship, winning district titles, whether it's winning a certain amount of games, whatever that is. Okay. Of course, we want to help our, better athletes, the ones that are aspiring to go to college and play. Okay, that's fulfillment. That's a vision and goal. The other one for me is I want my boys when they leave me to want to be husbands and fathers. Okay, to lead families. Because if you want to lead a family, okay, and you have a career or you have goals that you're going after, then what that does is it helps your decision making because you have a clear cut vision for your life, okay, as a young man. All right. So now that brings us around to attitude. So one of the first things we want to make sure we're doing, the attitude that we want to see is devoted players and coaches work for the program. So now we're talking about players. So that means that our energy, our effort, everything that we do, the grades that we get, staying out of trouble on the hallway, dressing correctly, being on time to class, all those different things, you do that because you're devoted to the program. Okay? Those are non-negotiables. Those are things you're supposed to do. There's no pat on the back for going to class and doing the job you're supposed to do. You go and you get your good grades. Okay? You stay out of trouble. Okay? You be on time, you sit in front of the class, you be on time for school. All those different things are things that you should do when you're devoted to the program. When you're devoted to the program, you come in, your attitude, our word this year is anticipate. Every day we come in, our attitude is that we anticipate to be better than what we was. So now we're coming in, our attitude is with the conditioning. Man, that conditioning hurt, but we coming in to get better today. All right. We coming to work today. Leave all your attitudes at the door. Don't bring that stuff in the locker room. Don't bring that energy. We're coming in here to get better. That's devotion to the program. Okay. I got a friend who wants to do something and get in trouble, do something silly. I'm devoted to the program. I don't want to be involved in that. If it's a teammate, my attitude devoted to the program. No, man, we don't act like that in class. You see what I'm saying? All those things start to happen because we're devoted to the program. Okay. That shows us as coaches what kind of attitude our children have, our student athletes have. Okay. And to remember, these things have to be taught. Some children have it naturally. Okay. They know what they want to do. Come in, coach, work with me. Some children, you got to make sure they understand that these are the standards and what it is to be a part of this program and what it takes to play for this program. Okay. Next, with attitude is you want to be enthusiastic. You want your players to be enthusiastic, be excited for the opportunity to participate. I tell my guys, be grateful, play with gratitude, because y'all, hey, one of my kids just yesterday said, he had I just sent them, I think an Instagram clip about being grateful, and he got home from practice and found out that one of his neighbors had passed that day. I think it might have been a heart attack. You see what I'm saying? So I just gave them that lesson that day. And then he comes in and he communicates with the guys about how grateful I am to be here, because that's a sad situation. But we don't know the day or the hour. We don't know when our last moment is. So we want to be enthusiastic, be full of enthusiasm, and be excited for our program and to participate. Because remember, it's in our vision. Being a part of the basketball team is a privilege. It's not a right. Me as a basketball coach, I don't have to have you on the team with a bad attitude, no matter what your situation is. We all have problems. We all do. We all have issues. We all have struggles that we go through. But a bad attitude is something that our program does not have to deal with. Okay? So remember, we're identifying the motives of our players. All right? So we're talking about attitude right now. Next is being positive. Negative comments and emotions get you nowhere. What's the point? Y'all tell me. What's the point? If you're negative all the time, what's the point? Why are you coming to run stadiums? Why are you coming to run the track? Why are you coming to lift weights with a bad attitude? Why are you coming to be a part of a team. And what is it? What is your motivation for coming if you're going to be negative all the time? Because remember, I said this before. If you consistently have a bad attitude, that means you have another agenda. That means your agenda does not match the programs. And you have something else you're trying to do. So your attitude is negative because you got something you want to do. And you want to do it the way you want to do it. But as the coaches, with us having a vision in place, having a mission, having an outline of how we want things done, how we want our program to look, we're able to pick up on these attitudes if they're consistently negative. And it's telling you there's another motive. What's a motive? Something that causes a person to act a certain way and do certain things. So that means if you're not devoted to the program, if you're not enthusiastic, if you're negative, that means you have another motive for being on the team. And if you're not on the team for the sake of the team, you're going to be exposed. Okay? Now, the last thing on the attitude is being respectful. All right? Being respectful. So we have 3 pillars at Airline. Okay? Our 3 pillars. I'm from the 90s. Y'all forgive me. I'm old school. I came up doing the no limit era. All right? Make them say, Master P. All right? That's the era I came from. And so TRU, that's the 3 pillars in our program. Everything we do, we want to build trust, respect, and unity. That's us. Trust, respect, and unity. So the last phase in when we're looking at attitudes, coaches, all right, is being respectful. Respect authority, respect your teammates, respect your opponents, and most of all, respect yourself. Now watch this, y'all. We know that there are cases, different situations that we're working in. We have to teach our players what that looks like. We cannot assume that they got it from home. We can't assume that. We are responsible in our element to make sure that everybody in the program understands what it looks like to have a good attitude, what it looks like to be devoted to the program, to have enthusiasm, to be positive with your teammates, to be respectful. Okay? So that means now for me as a coach, I got to understand what that is so I know what it looks like. So I have a player, if they are going against those things, then I know they have another motive. And then watch this. Then I can't motivate you to perform at the things that we need for our team if you, player, have another motive. So our motive for being a part of the program or a part of the team, it has to be the same. It has to be the same. And that's why coaches, we have to teach our players what that is. Remember, I also gave 4 phases of coaches. Okay? You have recruiters, you have X and O guys, you got developmental, and you have motivators. So that means if you have somebody that's a master motivator, that's because what they've done is they've been able to articulate what the vision of the program is and what it looks like and what kind of attitude we should have as a group. Now I can press the right buttons to motivate you. All right? So it's a little English lesson as well. Okay, so we have motive in its noun form, and then we have motive, okay, in its to motivate in its verb form, meaning action. Well, if we go a little bit further here, let's go ahead. Let's talk about what is motivation. So what is motivation? Because if I am going to motivate you, we have to have the same or similar motives for being a part of the program. And then now I can help you with your motivation because we all have the same reason why we're here. You understand what I'm saying? And in this day and time, y'all, it is so hard for us coaches to get teams on the same page. It's such a high level of concern with making sure that our players and parents and community all are on the same page, because the bottom line is everybody has an agenda and they have something they're trying to accomplish. They know what they want it to look like. But as coaches, we have a blueprint, and we have to get our teams to buy into our blueprint on how we are going to get things done. Because y'all, if your team is a winner or performs really well consistently, everybody on that team is going to get the opportunity to what we call eat. Okay? The opportunity is going to be there when we're doing it for us. So we're talking about identifying our players' motives. So that means if you're not devoted to the program, if you're not enthusiastic, if you're not positive, if you're not respectful to your coaches and your teammates and all those different things there, that means you have another agenda, another motive. Okay? So now, motivation. So now, in order for me to be able to motivate you, we have to have the same motive, like we said. So this is what motivation is. Motivation is the act or an instance of motivating or providing with a reason to act in a certain way. So watch this. Just listen to the definition. It's the act or an instance of motivating or providing with a reason to act in a certain way. So here we go. Where does the reason come from? Your team's vision, your team's goals, your team's missions, all the things that the team is trying to accomplish, okay? In order for us to have motivation in order to get that done, we have to be on the same page. So it's the act. So watch this. It says motivation is the instance of motivating because sometimes motivation is just for a moment. How long is that moment? It could be for a couple minutes. It could be for a whole game. It could be for a practice. It could be for 15 minutes. So in order to provide motivation, that means there's got to be something inside of the student athlete that resonates with them. So for me, y'all, I don't even believe in external motivation. I don't believe in it. I know we have motivational speakers. I don't consider myself a motivational speaker. I consider myself to be transformational. It's different. The reason why is the only way a person get motivated by somebody else if there's something already inside of you. So for your players, if I'm not able to reach somebody and get the most that I can get out of them, that means for them, they have another motive or agenda. Bottom line. That means the only time they're motivated and they're anxious or they're anticipating, okay, about an opportunity, it's when you give them something they want. Now, is something wrong with that? Nope. Because as coaches, we have to identify roles. We have to find the roles for players for the team to fit together. So that's why it's important we have to identify our players' motives. We have to do that. We have to do that for ourselves because guess what, y'all? Let me go ahead and say this. This is something that people just kind of get mixed up sometimes. Coaches, we want to have fun coaching. Let me drink my Diet Mountain Dew. Coaches want to have fun coaching. We want to enjoy coaching. So that means if there's a consistent bad attitude, there's something else going on. Now, let's flip the script a little bit. This is why we got to get to know our players. Because sometimes there's issues going on in their life that might be outside of their control. Sometimes you got to find out what the home life is like. You know, whether they single parent home, two parent home, you know, or did the parents get recently divorced? Or did somebody's parent die? Or do a parent live with a grandmother? Do a child live with their grandparent? Or are they adopted? It's so many factors that go in that we have to learn so we can understand them better. So coaches, for us, man, hey, we wear a lot of hats. We mama, daddy, counselor, psychiatrist. I mean, all we do custodians, we do all these different things. But in order for us to be able to get the most out of our players and out of our team, we have to get to know them outside of the game and know what their situations are. Because even with those situations, it's still not an excuse to have a bad attitude all the time. Because what happens is sometimes some of us in our profession, we become enablers. We have something that they want. But what happens is we'll give them the game and let them play, and their attitude's bad. They're not devoted to the program. Just not enthusiastic, not doing those things, but they got a little talent. So we let them play anyway, thinking that that's going to help them. No, it's not. You're killing them. Coaches, we're killing them because we have to find out, why are they there? Are you there just to play high school basketball and just have fun with the guy? Cool, nothing wrong with that. Okay. Are you trying to go to college with the game? Nothing wrong with that. Do I just like to be a competitor? I love competing. Nothing wrong. All those things matter. Okay. Because the bottom line is that when high school is over with, it's done. And what I hope as a coach is that I've given you everything you need. And I hope that you've built strong relationships with your teammates that will last you a lifetime. That's what I hope. Because when high school's over with, guess what? It's over. So while your children are in high school, you definitely need to find out, what is their reason? What's causing them to act the way that they act and respond to you the way that they respond? Because guess what? Everybody I've coached, I haven't gotten the most out of. I haven't. I didn't get every player's maximum potential. I might have gotten, well, I've gotten the most I can get out of them, but not necessarily always the maximum potential, because it just happens. But like I said, I will say this: I try to learn my players. I try to know who they are. I try to figure out what drives them, what gets them going. I got kids I never figured out. I just couldn't figure them out, and that's okay. It doesn't make me less of a person or them. They just didn't want to open themselves up for that, and that's okay. But for my program that I'm leading, okay, there are standards in place, there are expectations in place that you're expected to do in order to have the opportunity to compete with our team. Because we as a team have an agenda. We're trying to win as many games as possible, win a district championship, win a state championship. That's the basketball goals. After that, like I said, for me, that's more important than that is husbands and fathers. I want my boys to be tried in the fire. I want them to be challenged every single day and pushed and driven to the past their limits, because when they become somebody's husband and father, that wife and those children, they need their daddy and their husband to be strong. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what our world is missing. We're missing husbands and fathers committed to their families. So when my boys leave playing for me, I want them to have the attitude. My pastor, Richard Stampley in Natchitoches, he says, God created men to make their best decisions under pressure. That's what we're created for. So that means that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that you are ready to not punk out when you become an adult. Period. That's all. I just don't want you to punk out. Give your best. Dr. Myron Golden heard him say this: give everything you have to everything you do, or it's not worth you doing. So that means if your attitude is poor, okay, coaches, we got to find out, why is that attitude poor? And then when you find out why it's poor, if they make the decision not to come out of that rut, we can't reward them. You can't just keep on just letting them go out there, the rest of the team working hard for you and busting their tail and having great attitudes, and then you still have, this kid, because he has some talent, we let him play the most, because the bottom line is that you're still not going to win at the highest level with that kid. You're not. If you got a team that should win state, but your best player or top player got a bad attitude and you lose in the quarterfinals because of that, no. I'd rather get to the quarterfinals and overachieve with a less talented group of guys than underachieve with a group of talented guys. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because all I want is for attitudes and motives to be on the same page. Okay? So y'all just wanted to come on here and share that with you. Man, this is becoming a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all stopping in. Again, please go. You can subscribe to my pages on YouTube, The Coach's Sanctuary. I'm also on major outlets on podcasting with Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and also Amazon Music at the Coach's Sanctuary. All right. And like I said, you all know my social media pages. You can find the Coach's Sanctuary on all the outlets. Okay. My personal page is Eddie Hamilton, Eddie J. Hamilton to be specific. And I'm telling y'all, man, we appreciate y'all coming in, and we're growing. We're getting better. We're grateful for the time that you spend with us, and we're looking to keep growing. Please, if you find this to be helpful, share. This is stuff I don't like doing, but we got to do it. All right, share it out. All right, and we look to keep growing. I look forward to seeing you all next week. All right, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Until the next go around.